Today's lesson, we will be factoring trinomials. So a trinomial looks like this. It has three terms, and we are going to factor it, which is the opposite of multiplying binomials. So what we have learned so far is how to multiply binomials. A binomial is two terms to get a trinomial. So we're going to go the opposite way. We're going to be given a trinomial like this, x squared plus 16x plus 64, and go backwards to find out what was multiplied together to get that. So go ahead and make sure you have the title down. And we are going to get it from this trinomial. See how the trinomial doesn't have a number in front of x squared, so it's 1. And switch it into the binomials like x plus 8 times x plus 8 or whatever it is. We're going to use a strategy called the X games. So the example of this is, let's say I have a number on top and a number on bottom. 16 on top, 10 on bottom. What 16 represents is the product. So product means two numbers that multiply to get 16. And 10 represents the sum, and it's always that way. The top number of the x is the product, bottom number is the sum. So what we're trying to find is two numbers that can be multiplied together to get 16, but then add together to get 10. So what we can do is we can do it in our head. Sometimes it just clicks, and we're able to just say, okay, this times this is this plus this is this. But sometimes it doesn't. So let's think about all of the things that multiply to get 16. 4 times 4 is 16. But 4 plus 4 is 8. So that is not it. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 plus 8 is 10. So that's it. One that a lot of people forget is it times 1. So let's say 16 times 1. So don't forget about the number times 1. If we do that, then we'd add them and we get 17, which that's not it either. So the two numbers that multiply to get 16 but add to get 10 are 2 and 8. Order doesn't matter. I could have put 8 over here and 2 over here. Order doesn't matter. That's it. So this is the X game. So it's kind of like a puzzle. So let's do another one. So product of 30 and a sum of 13. So think about all the numbers that multiply to get 30. 10 times 3 gives us 30. What's 10 plus 3? 13. That works. What do you think about it? Okay, let's do another one. Let's do 20 and 9. So go ahead and do that one. Don't say it out loud.
Does it matter which side of the X you put it on?
Nope. The only numbers that matter, the order, are these two. Because the product always goes up top and the sum always goes on the bottom. So what do y'all think?
4.
Okay, so 4 times 5 is 20. 4 plus 5 is 9. That works. Order on the sides does not matter. Let's do another one. 27, 12. Product of 27, sum of 12. What do y'all think? Yep. 9 times 3 is 27. 9 plus 3, so this would be plus, this would be multiply. 9 times 3 is 27. 9 plus 3 is 12. That works. All right, so of course it's going to get a little bit trickier because I'm going to add some negatives in there. So much fun. All right, so let's do a product of 6 and a sum of negative 7. So how can you get a positive product but a negative sum? How do you get a positive product? Huh? 2 negatives, that's it. So write that down. Positive product means both are negative. That's going to be really helpful. Both means both are negative. So when I think about 6, I'm going to think about what 2 numbers, they both have to be negatives. So like negative 2 times a negative 3. That's a positive 6, right? And if you need to use your calculator to verify this, that might be helpful. Negative 2 times a negative 3 gives us positive 6. But then I do negative 2 plus a negative 3. The sum is negative 5. So that's not it. So what would be another product of 2 numbers that gets 6 but a negative 7? So negative 1 times a negative 6 gives us a positive 6, right? But then when I add them, negative 1 plus a negative 6 gives us a sum of negative 7. That's what I want. So then this is negative 1 and negative 6. All right, let's do another one. $30 product, negative 11 sum. What 2 numbers multiply to get positive 30 but get a sum of negative 11? Okay, let's try negative 5 and negative 6. What's another one? Negative 3 and negative 10. That would also... So what you'd have to do once you get those, actually add them together and see which one actually does what you want it to do. That one works, but what happened to the other one? That gives us a negative 13. Shh.
Keep change the lip. Is that right?
When you add them, yeah. No, you are just, if they're the same sign, you're going to add them and keep that common sign. So this one plus a negative 10 was negative 13, so that's not it. But this one, negative 5 plus a negative 6 gives us negative 11. That is the one that actually works. So sometimes you have 2 that you think are true, so you have to go to the calculator or do some addition to figure out which is the correct way. So negative 5 times negative 6 gives us positive 30. Negative 5 plus negative 6 gives us negative 11. All right, let's do another one. Let's do whenever the product is negative, but the sum is positive. So the only way to get a negative product is whenever your signs are different. So you need to write that out to the side. Negative product means signs are different. Negative product means the signs of your two numbers are different. One's positive and one's negative. So that's the case on this. You have a negative product, but you have a positive sum. So we've got to do different signs. So with negative 8, let's say it's negative 8 times a positive 1. That gives us the negative 8. But when you add them, negative 7. So that's not it. We want a sum of 2. What do you think? Negative 2 times 4. So negative 2 times 4 gives us negative 8. Negative 2 plus 4 gives us a positive 2. That's perfect. That's what we want. So see how the smaller number is negative and we get a positive solution? So you got to remember the rules for adding and subtracting with positive and negative. When they're different signs and you add them together, you keep the sign of the larger number. So see how this one's positive? You'll keep the sign of the larger. So this will be negative 2, positive 4. All right, so how is this going to help us with factoring a trinomial? What it's going to tell us is how to set up our numbers here. And the reason is, if we look back over here, when we multiply, let's say we did this example, x plus 10 times x plus 10. Our solution was this, x squared plus 20x plus 100. The 100 came from multiplying 10 times 10. That's the product. So 100 is the product. 20 came from adding 10x plus 10x, so that's the sum. So we're going to use that same x game to factor. So if I have x squared plus 14x plus 49, let me move it up. We can factor that by using the x game. The 49 represents the product. Always the product. So that's what goes on top of the x. The bottom of the x is the middle term, and that's what goes on the bottom. So remember, this is your product, and 14 is your sum. Kind of run out of room. So let's think about what numbers multiply to get 49 and add to get 7 times 7. Good. So put those on the sides. 7 times 7 is 49. 7 plus 7 is 14. So the factor of this, we're going to write it as binomial. X at the beginning of each one. A binomial means two terms. So it's going to be x plus 7 because that's one of our numbers. And then our other number is also 7, so x plus 7. So this is the factor. That's what we're looking for when we factor. Okay, I got to go to my other page because I'm out of room on this one. If you need to go to the next page, you can. We have a few more examples, so y'all stay with me. So let's do x squared plus 13x plus 30. So when we write our trinomial down, we draw our x. And the product is the last term. This is your product. So that goes on top. The sum is the middle term. That goes on bottom. We have already done this one. Yay! So 30, to get 30, what would you multiply by? 10 times 3. And what is 10 plus 3? That's it. And remember, the order of these doesn't matter. So that means that we're going to have x plus 3 times x plus 10. That is our factor. We're done. That's all we have to do. Nope, doesn't matter the order. I could write it as x plus 10 times x plus 3. They are the same. X squared minus 8x plus 12. So let's look and see. Product goes on top, so this is 12 and negative 8. So what multiplies to get 12 but adds to get negative 8? 6 times 2 is 12, but 6 plus 2 is positive 8. So what do we need to do?
Make one of them negative.
If we make one of them negative, that's... Yeah, make them both negative. Remember those notes we wrote right here? Positive product, remember the number on top is positive, means both are negative. That's what we have here. A positive product, so both are negative. So it's actually going to be negative 6 times a negative 2. So that means it's going to be x minus 6 times x minus 2. Product of positive 12, sum of negative 8. Negative 6 plus a negative 2 gives us a negative 8. Okay, go ahead and do the next one. Write it down and do the next one. Yes.
This last one.
Mm-mm. So remember 20 goes on top because that's your product. Negative 12 goes on the bottom. So positive product means they're both negative. Positive product, both negative. So what will it be?
10, negative 10, negative 2.
Yep, good job. Negative 10, negative 2. So that means it's going to be x minus 10, x minus 2. Sweet. Okay, we have two more. Here they are.
Wait. Oh.
Yes. Okay, let's look at the first one. A negative product. What do we say about a negative product? Yep. Means the signs are different. So you want different signs to get negative 40 that add to get a negative 6. So the difference between them. Different signs, difference. So let's think about negative 8 times 5. Does that work? Negative 8 plus 5. That's a negative 3, so that's not going to work. Negative 10 and what? 4? So negative 10 plus 4. Yep, that works. Did you know that if you do it the opposite way, negative 4 and 10, you won't get the same thing? You'll get a positive 6.
It's crazy.
So look at the difference. If I do the opposite, it gives me the opposite sign. So be really careful with your positive and negative. Double check yourself. So that means this is x minus 10 times x plus 4. Okay, the last problem. That middle term doesn't have anything but a negative. So that means it's a negative 1. So we want numbers that multiply to get negative 6. Okay? Negative 3, positive 2, negative 3, plus 2. That works. So x minus 3, x plus 2. All right, so that is it for the notes. So make sure you do your delta math.